Canva is a one-stop shop for everything content. So in this tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how you can create attention-grabbing reels using Canva. It's a very simple process as always, and we'll be playing around with some animation features. So if you stick to the end, you'll be able to create an amazing reel. So let's get started. This is a mobile video dimension that I'll be working with because I want to create an Instagram reel. So you can search for it. And then the next thing I will be doing here is to get my text. So what I want to do with this first page is to create a template, a working template that will serve me for the rest of the pages. We'll be having about 7 or 6 pages for this project. So I'm just going to be creating a template, and I need to get my grid line so that we will have everything properly aligned. I'll bring this down and then also get another line for the top. All right. So for this test, I'll be using the first test here is moisturizer. Moisturizer. Let's change the font to, you can use DM Sans, and then reduce it to about 35 or 36. I need to zoom in, position it here, duplicate this into 5 more places because we'll be having 5 displays. And then change the name for this one to foundation. We can use mascara for here. And then change this one to lipstick. And this would be face cleanser. I'm going to align these tests to the left and then position them to left. So now we have our test. I need to get grid where I will display all my products. So this tutorial can serve you if you want to display products in such a way that they grab attention. So you can always recreate this for your product or your services. So I'm looking for a grid that has 5 layouts. So I think this one it is. I'll resize this, ensure that it aligns with my margin. So I'm going to add spacing to it. Let's say about 30. And then we're going to add border width. You can make it a border width of 8. Change the border color to white. And then let's get a shape. I'll be using the shortcut R on my keyboard. That's what I used. So you can always, if you're working with your with your laptop, you can always use the shortcut R to get your rectangle shape. So I'll place this here and then give it a corner rounding to 100%. Also get my line shape, which is L on my keyboard, and position this here. This line should be below the shape, so I'm going to send it backward. So now I have my template ready. I'm going to duplicate this page so I can start the design process. duplicate. So the first thing I'm going to do is to get my images, which I already have here. The first one is moisturizer. I'm going to position it. The second one is foundation. The third one is mascara. The fourth, lipstick. And the last one is facial cleanser. So with our images added, I'm going to stretch this out so that it fits into what I want to create. So we're going to stretch out and bring this down. Ensure that it aligns with the line. And we're going to position it at the center. And then we will change the background color for this to this color, which is one of the colors in this image. And then what we are going to do for this shape here, the shape and line, let's group this. Change the color to this white, something close to white, not exactly white. And then we're going to bring it to the center of this shape. Somewhere here. So this is the center of the page, not the shape. So it's the center of the page. And then for our text, we'll move it down because the first text that should show up, moisturizer. So let's bring the text down and ensure that our line is, ensure that it is properly aligned. Then we can resize this to, or move it backwards so it can fit into our text. And this is it. So the next thing we will do for this design is to fade these other tests. So we're going to reduce the transparency for this one to 70. The one following it will reduce that to 30, or to 50 rather. And this one will reduce it to 30. And the last one will be 10. So this is what we are going to do for other pages. So now we can duplicate this page into 4 more places. So for this one, the second page, we have to move this up because that's the next item that should show. Ensure that it is well aligned. And then we'll bring this shape, we'll bring this text, we'll move this text up so that the next text that will appear will be foundation. Move it up. You can use the arrow up and down arrow key so that it does not distort the movement. Now we can return the transparency of this one to 10 because to 100 because that's the one that is displaying. Then the one following it will be 70. This other one will be 50. And this one 30. And this one 70. All right. So we are going to change the background of this one to the color of the image. So we can use this one. This is one of the colors in this image. So I'm going to move this up this way. So we're going to repeat this same process for the rest of the pages. We've successfully worked on all the pages. Well, I need to change the background of this one so that it will be different from the previous page. So I'm going to choose this one here. So all the pages have different background based on the pictures on them or the picture displaying. Now I can go ahead and delete this template. It has served its purpose. So the idea of fading some of these tests, reducing the transparency of this test, is just to focus on the one that is displaying. That's why I had to fade this other one. So as you can see, when you get to the one that shows foundation, it becomes very clear. The same goes for the rest. So with our pages done, the next thing we would do is to add transition. But before we add transition, I need to add an introduction page, an intro page, and also a closing page. So let's add one more page here, then bring it to the front. But this time we're not going to be creating it from scratch. We'll be leveraging Canva templates. So let's go to design to pick a template. I'll be using this one here. Click on it and then choose the first page and also go to the last one to pick the last page, which is this. Let me collapse it. So we're going to do minor editing on these pages so that it aligns with what we've already created. For this color, for instance, this color, we're going to change it. We'll pick any of the colors in our design. So I can use this one, click on change all. The same goes for the tests. And click on change all. Okay, this does not, let's see if this one works for the test. Or maybe this other one. Or this. Then we can adjust the brightness of this video. Let's go to adjust. Once you click on edit, you go to adjust. Let's reduce the brightness to about -20. You can also reduce the saturation. We are doing this so we can be able to view our test. So I'm going to change this to top 5. Go to position so I can access the top. All right. Top 5. My favorite beauty products. This should be 5, not percent. Then we'll do the same for the last page. Reduce the brightness and the saturation so it aligns with what we have in the first page. So this will be -20. We'll do the same for saturation. All right, we're almost getting done with this project. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll leave this transition because as you can see, it's added transition for us. This is a default transition that came with the template. So for the rest of the page, I'm going to do match and move transition and then increase the duration to 1 second or 1.2 seconds. I'll click on apply between pages, then return to this first page and change the transition to slide, or I'll use dissolve instead. Let's use dissolve. The same goes for this one. I'll use dissolve as well. Let's play and see what we have. Let's see what we have done so far. All right, our transition is working fine, but we need to add animation to this first page because the way it entered, it's not smooth. So we need to add animation to this first page. So we're going to go to animation, and this animation is just for the first page. And we're using this rise so that once we enter this page, it will sort of rise, give us a very clean and smooth entrance. So I'm going to use this animation, and it's going to be on enter, and that's it. So the animation is just for this first page. One last thing we will do for this project is to add sound to it. So I'm going to go to element. But before I do that, I need to reduce this page duration. Okay, 2.8 is cool. 2.8 is fine. We can leave it at that. So let me go to element to get my audio. So I'm going to type in instrumental or happy instrumental and then choose any audio of choice. You can click see all to see all the audio. Not sure the exact one I want to use, but I can choose from, I can use any one. Let's say this one, Happy Fantasy Music. So you can choose any sound you want, or you can even add your own sound, and that's it. And if you don't want to use a sound from Canva, you can always, since if you're publishing this on Instagram, there's also option for you to choose a music from Instagram. So this is how you can create this sort of projects in Canva. I hope you learned something new. And if you find value in this tutorial, kindly give me a like. If you're not a subscriber, kindly subscribe, please. And if you want to be the first to know whenever I post a fresh video, hit the notification bell so that you will always be notified. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.